Welcome to the show. This is No Interference. We are your host, Westside, Big Sass, and the Bull. The NFL season is moving along to week 3, and we got some interesting topics to break down for you. So to kick the show off, just some basic news out in the NFL world. The Philadelphia Eagles sign, I believe it's official now, they signed Sue and Linval Joseph to bolster their D-line, hopefully until Jordan Davis returns.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not until he returns. I'm assuming they're here for the long run now.
I mean, if you can,
those are the two types of signings that the Eagles don't usually get because they're not usually like this early. Like the Eagles are obviously one of the teams people are having as Super Bowl favorites as they were going on that run. So now I feel like you can get these free agents that want to play for a contender, the older ones particularly.
I mean, you don't see it a lot, but there are teams out there that are deeper than others who they will basically have a jumbo D-line package. More teams do it, but off the top of my head, I know the Titans for sure. They have basically like some teams have they're like NASCAR speed rush package, and Titans have a jumbo run defense package. So Linval and Sue definitely give the Eagles that the option, at least now.
Yeah, I think Linval Joseph was more of a signing to fill the void Jordan Davis left after getting injured, as stuffing, just taking up space. And I mean, obviously Jordan Davis is a huge guy in general. He seems like he'll be more than that as like a playmaker throughout his career, but especially this season, that seems to be what he was doing, in particular the packages he was in.
Yeah.
Sue, I think, was more of a signing because against Washington, I think Fletcher Cox played the most. I think he played like 70 or 80 snaps, which was like the most he's played in. I don't know if it's a couple of years or not, but it was a lot. And he said something about it after the game. So I think Sue can come in and rotate with him and Hargrave and stuff like that. So I think
his breath a little.
Not even if Sue and Joseph are the players they once were, because I don't think anybody expects that. But if they can just play decent enough to keep other guys fresh that are,
it's a good depth
still
rotation
in the league. I mean, Sue played well for Tampa Bay last year.
I could be mistaken. I probably am, but off the top of my head, I know the Eagles have Fletcher Cox and then Hargrave. But after that, the only defensive tackle I can think of is Milton.
Milton Williams has played really well.
But he's undersized. He's more of a tweener than a true defense tackle.
Yeah, well, I feel like Hargrave's kind of undersized too.
I think he's just short and stubby, but he seems like he's got some beef.
Yeah, I can never remember how to say his name. He's our other defensive tackle, and he kind of plays that nose tackle type position. Let me try and see if I can never pronounce it, so I never remember his name. But he just went on IR, and he kind of was fixed in that rotation with Milton Williams playing a little bit more with Jordan Davis being out.
Got it.
I'll figure out his name in a little bit. But overall, I think they were good signings. I think, what does it hurt,
Yeah. And I mean, we all know kind of the reasoning for it. Transitioning here, whether or not Sasquatch wants to talk about it or not, the Washington Commanders came out Monday night with the upset win over the Philadelphia Eagles. And part of the reason was the Commanders were able to
refs.
The Commanders were able to keep the game close, and they full on committed to the run. They ran the ball 40 plus times. Not even over the course of the game, it didn't even average out being like a
It was like
slaughter.
150
It was just
total yards rushing.
they were averaging, I think, as a team right under 4 yards a carry. But when you're committed to it, and the Eagles are just not able to get that stop here and there, because when you are running the ball like that and you get hit for no gain or a loss, that can really stall a drive. And the Eagles just, for most of the game, weren't able to get that at all.
Pretty sure that was the most third down conversions Washington's had all year.
And that's what I was about to get to with the Eagles. The Eagles have a very good offense, and you, even with how that game went, you could see the Eagles offense was still legit. Just they didn't have many chances, which is probably the Commanders' plan. But with the Eagles offense, they typically are going to play a safe defense for better or worse, and they are going to wait for you to make it. They're going to put the pressure on the other team's offense, and they wait for them to make a mistake.
Talking about the Eagles' defense.
Yeah. And that's usually what happens. But the Commanders were consistently able to get into 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. And even when they got into, I think they had a couple 4th and short that they went for, and they converted. So it really, it was just something different that the Eagles haven't faced yet. And that type of adversity, I think it's good in the long run to deal with it now, because you don't want to get smacked in the playoffs the first time and not know how to react.
Yeah, I think you got all the points down there pretty well. Yeah, they got the short downs on 3rd down and 4th down, and whether they were able to convert it by running the ball. If they didn't do that, it seemed like Terry McLaurin was open all night. Whether it was by scheme or just beating his man with a good play. He had that one deep ball against Darius Slay. And there was a couple times where he just found the soft spot in the zone. I mean, he had to have had like 75% of like Heineke's yards and completions or something like that.
I saw a stat that Terry McLaurin's faced shadow coverage 7 times this year, and twice was Darius Slay. And if you take out Darius Slay, I think he's averaging like 5 catches for like 70 yards between the other 5 corners that shadowed him. But against Darius Slay, he's averaging like 7 catches and like 115 yards. But
yeah, first game, I remember he had that big, I think he started, it doesn't matter, but once hit, he's gotten deep balls both games, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which always seems like that's the case when Commanders play the Eagles. You guys get some kind of long ball.
Skirter.
I mean, I brought this up
for the Eagles to shore up. I was just looking. I think one of you mentioned the stats already, but I mean, 81 offensive plays to 47, 40 minutes to 19 minutes.
Time of possession.
The Eagles did a good job keeping the game close without barely touching the ball, but when the possession and plays are that doubled essentially, and then you have 3 turnovers, which they did, you need all the chances you can get in those 3 drives where they had turnovers. I mean, that's all it takes. Like in the third quarter, I think it was, I can't remember what the score was in the third quarter. Going into the third quarter, Washington had like a 7.5 minute. It was like Washington only had like 3 or 4 drives into the third quarter, but they were all like 7 minutes plus besides the first 2. Yeah.
Excuse me. Another thing I wanted to bring up, and I'm not saying this affected the game or whatever, it was just, I feel like this year, I think I say this every year, but the referees just seem like they get worse and worse. Disgusting. And the Goddard face mask, not because it was a big play, not because it was a turnover,
because it was so blatant.
The reason a face mask is a penalty is because it's a dangerous play, and Goddard got injured on that play. He's on IR now because he hurt his shoulder from the way when you're yanked down by your face and you fall right on your shoulder and you weigh 260 pounds, like that's a good way to injure your shoulder. And my biggest complaint is there's literally a ref less than 10 yards directly downfield. He's not to the left or the right. He's literally directly downfield. There's literally a camera shot where the camera is going through the ref, and like, and the fact that the refs after the game, they're like, we didn't see it. Like, when I wish sometimes a ref would just come up and be like, we messed up. Like,
well, RJ said it. I think you texted it during the game. One of you did. I think it was RJ saying they should get fined.
I think they should get fined. I think
like refs. I mean, they should get like if a player. I don't know, because I mean, a player doesn't get fined if they mess up a play, but
should be held accountable.
Well, if a defender comes in and okay, if AJ Green gets fined 10,000, AJ Brown.
This is an ongoing issue.
Yeah, this is into the off season, people. First night of getting him on the Eagles
at a trade.
But if AJ Brown gets fined $10,000 for pointing his finger at players that he just wrecked in a great play, which
when he got that touchdown,
people do that from like
he was like 1, 2.
Yeah, you do that from like the time you're in preschool playing football with your friends. You do that kind of stuff, and then if he's going to get fined $10,000 for that, the refs should get fined for egregious misses.
I think you got a good point there. Honestly,
aren't they full-time refs now? It's a full-time job.
They just seem. I mean, we've been fans long enough. We complain about the refs all the time, and yeah, the Eagles didn't make enough plays, and they turned the ball over 3 times, and the Commanders had a good game plan. That's all. That's the reason why you can't let the refs age your loss. You know what I mean?
I think I get what you're trying to say.
Like if you're playing a great game and there's like a phantom call at the end, then you can blame the refs, like the Saints game. But a game like this, the Eagles obviously, a game like this, the Eagles obviously weren't playing well. Anyways, like if the Eagles had like 500 yards of offense and they were scoring every time they touched the ball, but the only times they didn't score is when the refs messed it up, I'd be like, okay, it's completely the refs' fault. And yeah, I was mad about the refs. I'm allowed to be. It's their first loss.
I'd be livid. The face mask is disgusting.
They've been bad all year.
How bad the refs have been. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Chiefs Raiders game with the Chris Jones sack, the Falcons Buccaneers game with Grady Jarrett sack, in the Titans Broncos game. It didn't end up affecting the game, but the Broncos were in like a 3rd and like 15, backed up in their own end zone, and Russell Wilson throws like just an airmail ball out of bounds, and then the Titans like 5th string defensive end, he's a rookie, comes flying around, dips under the tackle, and like literally right after Russell Wilson flips the ball, he like shoulders Russell Wilson in the hip, and Russell Wilson, like, I don't even think he falls over. I think he just like stumbles away, and the ref threw a flag roughing the passer. I'm just like,
one other thing for refs, it's not intentional, but if you can't get out of the way of a play because you don't have enough athleticism, you shouldn't be a ref.
Yeah,
they should have I'm sure they do.
It should be called the
I don't know.
rule.
Actually, there's not as many old refs. It seems like some of the older refs have been phased out with a newer generation, but like you've seen refs make like the one ref in the Washington game where he
laid out the Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah.
What were you doing in that? I know that the refs have their position, but like there was like 5 guys there, and you were like, get out of the way if you know the route's coming.
I think
like,
that's the
move.
3rd time this year I've seen a ref bump into a safety on a deep shot play, and in my opinion, affect the play. And they just go, ref's part of the field.
Yeah, I hate that the ref's part of the field.
Did you see that play? I don't know if it was college or high school where the field goal kicker hit the ball off the ref's head and it bounced in.
That's a field goal, right?
And everyone was like, well, I don't know. Like, if you kick a field goal into the dirt and it bounces up, is that a field goal? Or
if it goes off of a player, it counts.
Yeah, but if the player is not considered part of the field, the ref's considered part of the field.
Oh, see, that's just stupid to me. If I was a player, I would just wreck a ref and be like, whoops, sorry, part of the field.
Right in the head.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
Stomp on as you're running by.
Well, that's like, I brought this up I brought this up weeks ago, and I said that if refs are going to be so tick-tacky with that roughing the passer call, and I know as a defensive end, I'm going to hit the quarterback late, I'm just going to run you over. Like, if I'm going to get
Might as
flagged
well.
anyway, you're going to
You've
feel
always
me.
had that position where you should just get your money's worth no matter what.
Why not? You get fined for the roughing the passer call, whether or not you laid out the ref or it was a bad call. You can certainly appeal it, but I don't know how often the league will do that. But if I know I'm gonna hit the quarterback, like buckle up. Like I'm taking that. You're earning that 15 yards and that first down.
Yeah, they got to figure out some way. I think I don't know how they would do it. Because I do think it should be part of the game because if you review any play, you could literally call holding on any play or pass interference on any play.
This just popped into my mind, and in my memory, I've never heard this be brought up. Why can't we have a running into the quarterback and roughing the quarterback like there is for kickers?
True.
Running into the quarterback, it's a 5-yard penalty, not automatic first down.
No automatic first down, yeah.
Roughing the quarterback, it's 15 yards, automatic first down. Why can't we have that? I guess some people will say, well, if you have that, then they're going to call it more often. But
I take 5 yards over automatic first down every time.
Yeah, a 5-yard. They call false start gets called all the time, and I think not to get into like what should be, changing penalties and whatnot. But I think holding is one of the worst penalties ever. Like 10 yards is so bad.
Automatic first down.
No holding on the offense.
Offensive holding.
It just ruins drives.
Oh yeah.
Like 1st and 10, you get like a 15-yard run and like a hold on the right side of the field that has nothing to do with it, and you're like, 1st and 20, and like so hard.
Especially after if it was after the guy's already halfway down the field. Like, did it really affect the play at all? No. Then why?
This is my biggest complaint with holding. I think for the most part, on running plays, holding is called. It balances out. I think you get away with it just as much as you kind of get screwed with it. I think where holding is just the league's just awful at it. When quarterbacks break out of the pocket, the tackles almost always hold the defensive ends so they can't contain.
Sometimes
happens.
It's not
Lamar gets the Ravens to get away with it all the time. The Chiefs get away with it all the time. I'll be fair. The Bills probably do it. I just can't recall. I think in a couple of the Bears games, I've seen defenders like they're turning to try and make that lunge tackle for the feet once the quarterback breaks contain, and you always see the lineman like grab and pull them in.
I don't think
never called.
Well, it's running quarterbacks. I don't think that's as much as an intentional hold as the linemen are engaged with the defensive lineman. And they grab in there probably depending on the pass play because you or whatever play it is, and then if your quarterback's Justin Fields who can move like a lightning bolt, sprints out to the right, and the defender who's equally athletic sometimes nowadays goes to run, and you're like, oh, I already got my hands on you, and then it's a hold for a half a second.
Hey, if you're a receiver running a route and the receiver stops real quick and turns around, you run into him. Still pass interference.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be holding. I'm just saying I don't think it's as egregious.
I think it is.
I don't think it's like an intentional thing.
I think it is.
I had another one I was going to mention, but I can't remember. Oh well.
Also, again, I don't want to. You said we don't.
Go ahead, and I'll say my.
You know what call I have not seen in years? Where's the uncatchable ball call? Like you see it all the time on like pass interference or like some defensive call, and the refs would be like, "The ball was uncatchable, so there's no point. We're not throwing a flag." I have not seen that. Maybe they took it out for all I know. I have not seen that called in probably 6 years.
I thought I saw one not that long ago, but they should have an untackleable running back for that holding. Can't tackle the running back. It doesn't matter if you're held or not. Sorry.
When you're on the other side of the field.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the non-catchable ball either in a while. I don't think they should incorporate being able to challenge penalties or replaying all penalties because, like I said, when you run a play back in slow-mo, you can almost always point to certain things and be like, that's penalty or interference. But the ones that are like roughing calls, face mask calls, like sideline penalty, roughing calls. Just let the booth do a quick review of that, just like a touchdown or something. Because
did you
that's
see
15 yards, and that's either plays that lead to penalties or they're like big moment type things.
Did you see what Bill Belichick said?
Yeah, his whole
That you should get 2 challenges that you can challenge whatever you want, and you can do it whenever you want.
Yeah, for whatever you want.
Well, because like in the Bills Vikings game when Gabe Davis caught that catch that clearly wasn't a catch, and nothing you can do about it. Like it's a booth that doesn't say anything.
That was a big mess up on the refs' part, though. Apparently they're supposed to stop the clock if it's a play longer than 10 yards or something like that.
I've never heard that.
I was reading it the other day after that, or somebody
a
ref was talking. It may
have
been
sounds like poppycock to me.
No, because you said you weren't watching the game. Because you were watching the Titans game, and it was the ref that was covering the game. He was saying,
Dean Blandino?
Sure, whatever his name is. They said you're supposed to stop the play if it is a certain distance like that and under 2 minutes to review it, because it's like a big play, touchdown, something like that.
Well, if they're to review it, yes, but if it's just a long play, they don't stop the clock.
Yeah, it was a questionable catch, and they ruled it a catch right away.
No, he was saying that should have been reviewed.
Well, yeah, but he's also saying they would only stop the clock to review it. But if it's like a clean, no doubt play, the clock just keeps going.
Oh,
it was not clean at all.
Got it. Same, but different.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like you could tell he did not have possession of the ball. They just rushed to the line. Oh, next play.
While we're making this transition, Bills Vikings game, potential game of the year. Some of us missed it because we're diehard fans and we want to watch our games.
Well, our team did play on Monday night, but that's fine.
Fraud.
Both teams did.
But Bills Vikings potential game of the year. I still need to rewatch it.
Definitely worth a replay.
Yeah, I might watch
two best catches of the year
tomorrow,
and the best game of the year.
But we'll just dive into it. It seemed like the Bills were dominating. Then fourth quarter comes around, and what do we call him? Chain Gang Cousins comes out. I don't know. He needs some sort of nickname.
I feel like still the key of the game was that fumble in the end zone by Josh Allen.
Well, yeah. So the Vikings are trying to come back. Then Josh Allen, for the second week in a row, throws that red zone interception, which is
Patrick Peterson making him look gold.
Well, as Josh Allen, he needs to know, like, don't throw that ball away, or just tuck it and run, take the field goal, win the game. I know he's a freak athlete and he has a cannon, but in the red zone, you can't be. Those windows are so much smaller.
He just thinks he can do it.
And then we all know what happens. Kirk Cousins drives the ball, Vikings down the field. They have that amazing catch by Justin Jefferson.
4th and 18?
Yeah, something like that. They get down to the 1 yard line, can't punch it in. That's a disgrace, honestly.
It was.
In a year when the quarterback sneak, Jason Kelce is the GOAT play of the year, and you get stopped, but I don't know, luck of the Vikings or blessing of the Norse gods. The Bills get the ball in the inch-yard line, have to run. That's what they needed. That's what they needed.
Did you watch New Heights?
Yeah, I watched
segment on it.
Tight. What are you saying? Tight butthole or whatever.
Jason Kelce was like, everybody's puckered up in those short yard situations. He said something about this.
And he said it's like one of the most difficult plays there is.
He said that's what caused the
and then
the miss snap.
I thought it was funny because. Travis Kelce was like, "You're telling me a QB sneak is the hardest play in sports," and then Jason Kelce was like, "Okay, mister, I'm just going to run a 5-yard hitch route every play."
Yeah, he's like, "It's easier than a hitch route.
It's
harder than a hitch route."
We know what happened. The Bills not only get stuffed. Josh Allen loses the ball in the center to quarterback transition. And the ball is recovered in the end zone by the Vikings.
I do want to add one more thing to that mishaps they had. You got the guys like Jason Kelce and the Eagles, Jalen Hurts. They're really good at running that play. And Jalen Hurts is like a like, you could argue a perfect quarterback to run a QB sneak because he's strong,
Great
he's
at
not
draws,
that
too.
tall.
QB draws fucking spectacular.
But if I had a quarterback like Josh Allen, like, who has the arm and the speed, I would like spread it out and have him in shotgun, and
say
at
you
the
have
worst,
to cover everyone.
well, at the worst, like, you're going to take a safety. Either he throws out of the pocket and he's in a safety. If it's a bad snap in the shotgun, what's usually what happens? The ball goes over their head. Okay, it goes into the end zone. You don't have to risk there being a fumble. But let him make a play to either run out of the pocket, gain a few yards, or just throw it, and there's an incomplete. But I thought it was sneaky. I thought it was risky to run a QB sneak when you're literally on the inch-yard line.
Right? Well, I don't know which one of you this is, and it could be neither of you. Like, one of the last 2 years in Madden, I want to say it was RJ, but I could be wrong. I was playing something. It might have been some rando online. Had the ball at the 1 yard line. Ran a QB sneak. Safety. Like, the thing with...
I would never run a QB sneak in Madden in general. It'd never work.
I do it on 4th and inches.
On a goal line, I would think
field.
about it, like if I was about to score, but now when I'm on my own one,
I
would do the same thing in Madden. I would go 5 wide.
My thing with QB sneak is just you're either gaining 1 yard or no yards, and you're on the inch-yard line. It's so risky. Like, I know the Bills don't have the best run game in the world. I don't know what their personnel is off the top of my head, but go I form, run that ball right up the middle. At least your running back, when he gets that handoff and that momentum, he can get airborne and, like...
Maybe they still have Zach Moss, a little more power.
What about an RPO?
I think you're worried about the hold with the RPO. Because everyone already says RPO is a holding play every time. Just no one calls it.
Whatever. They're just jealous.
They're just jealous. I can't say that line. Or I don't know. Or I would have honestly done Josh Allen quarterback power, not a sneak. Straight QB power.
Well, yeah, they would probably, yeah, I mean, they would still have him in the shotgun. That's just a better situation, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he was right there under the center. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Hey, last year, Bills tried to run a QB sneak to win the game against the Titans. Got stuffed. City. Maybe the Bills just shouldn't run QB sneaks anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your question I have written down, though, Josh Allen's regression. Is that a thing?
I don't think it... Yeah, okay, I guess technically it is a regression. I think it's mainly...
Is it a regression, or is it just a rough patch of games? And with maybe a lingering elbow issue?
I think it's a bit of both. I think he's been playing out of his mind for the last...
He was playing out of his mind
16
the first
months.
6 games of the season.
No, I think he's been playing... I think Josh Allen's been playing out of his mind the last 16, 18 months. And I think nobody's perfect. Tom Brady's had a 5-interception game in his career. Drew Brees got picked off by the same linebacker 3 times in one game. I just think, hey, like, we've these last few years with the way the rules are going and the evolution of offense, we've been seeing these quarterbacks put up insane numbers, and I think we just have a little bit of regression back to the mean. And for Josh Allen, who's been playing insane, that regression to average is more over-exaggerated.
Yeah, especially when you're labeled number 1. I mean, it's the best team in the league.
Was number
all
1.
Season. Has a lot of pressure to it, and it's hard to carry it the whole time. It's hard to stay at that quo when you this is the NFL. The defenses get paid too.
Also,
it's also hero ball thing. He probably was feeling a little invincible.
Yeah, I mean, guys with those arms.
Back down to reality. Yeah, exactly. Feels like you put it anywhere, anytime. And
also with the Bills' offense, it's like they're hit or miss if they can run the ball with their running backs. They put a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. It seems like he targets Diggs 20 times a game. Mm-hmm. Gabe Davis gets a few, chucks here and there. Isaiah McKenzie Isaiah
did.
McKenzie gets a few targets if they think he has a matchup on a nickel corner. But I think what you're also seeing is I think the Bills offense, I don't know. I don't want to get all like way out of line with this, but I think the Bills offense, we've kind of seen its like ceiling.
So in the games that Stephon Diggs has over 10 targets, they have 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 loss. So they're 3-3. In the games he has less than 10 targets, they have win, win, win. 3 wins.
Which means looks like they're forcing the ball to Diggs every time is creating more problems, but he is still one of the best receivers in the league, so it's hard to shy away from giving him the ball.
And Diggs coming to the Bills lines up with Josh Allen's progression, which is fair to say for any quarterback. I mean, you have to be, an outlier, amazing quarterback to not need a little bit of help on the outside. So, I don't know. I don't think it's a regression. I think he just had a tough patch of games. Like RJ said, expectations are so high, and he probably does. He's a young quarterback who's played amazing the last few years. Well, 2 years in particular. And
Wish I had
He's
him.
been good since he got in the league. Yeah,
yeah, for the most part, he wasn't even that bad when he was a rookie, sophomore.
you saw it in him.
Yeah, he has the strongest arm in the league. You could debate him or Mahomes, but I think I'd give the edge to Josh Allen.
I would too.
So yeah, does he probably? I don't think it's just taking risky passes like the one against the Vikings in the end zone. I don't really know what he saw there. But there could be other factors that play into poor decision making. You know, I don't know. I mean,
Saw the gravy, but
bad
couldn't get the
patch,
biscuits.
bad patch of games and a sore elbow. He'll get back right. They should probably. I think they should rest him. But maybe we're wrong about that already.
Well, on the
He
flip
looked good running
side,
the ball too.
On the flippity floppity.
their opponent, the Minnesota Vikings, get the upset win. They're now 8-1, 9-1,
8-1.
Yep.
8-1. I don't think anyone was really high on that. Well, I think everyone basically said they're a very good balanced team, but they have a suspect defense, and it's the Kirk Cousins hate.
Yes, he still receives a lot of hate.
So go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you
I was just
finish.
gonna say, but with the defense, so Darius Smith has been a real boost for this defense. Patrick Peterson is playing very well, best in the last few years for him, and the
They have a
rest of their
rookie corner, too,
veterans, Daniil Hunter, Eric Kendricks,
Harrison Smith.
Hitman, they're doing their maybe not as good as they once were, but they're still
Doing better than Anthony
a force
Barr.
to be reckoned with. He was always a wild card.
Mm.
Yeah,
Do
I
we?
mean,
Go ahead.
No, you were in the middle of your thought already.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I've only heard one person say that the Vikings are their NFC Super Bowl favorite. Everyone else still seems to be like, well, they're the Vikings. Some people are like, still say the Packers are going to get it together and the Packers are going to be the better team.
I disagree.
Yeah. I think the Vikings are playing very similarly to what they're doing last year. They're just winning the games instead of losing some of the games. Last year they were 8-9, and their losses, they lost by 3 points, 1 point, a touchdown, 4 points, 3 points, 4 points, 2 points. Or no, that was 6 points, 2 points, 7 points, and then they got blown out one time all year by the Green Bay, the second last game of the season. This year, week 1, they won handedly against the Packers, and they got blown out by the Eagles. But since then, they won by 4, won by 3, won by 6, won by 8, 8, 3, and 3. So they're still close games. I think they're a good team. I'm not saying that my argument wasn't that they're a bad team. I just think they're having the opposite luck. Maybe they're a little bit better coached in crunch time this year. They did make the coaching change from Zimmer to what's his name?
O'Connell.
O'Donnell.
Kevin O'Connell.
O'Connell. Somewhere in there.
I know I get him and Mike
O'Connell.
McDaniel
So-
mixed up.
Yeah, I know. That's what I couldn't get McDaniel out of my head. But I don't know. Justin Jefferson's playing out of his mind too.
I think one thing with the Vikings is it seems like they're empowering Kirk Cousins, and it's like it just seems like he's just out there kind of slinging the ball, and he's not one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league, but
he's not having a great year. He hasn't thrown more than 2 touchdowns in a single game. He has multiple games with 1 touchdown. He has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks. He hasn't thrown. He's only thrown for over 300 yards once. So, I mean, he's
having a worse statistical year than typical, but they're being more productive.
Defense is playing better.
Defense is playing better. Justin Jefferson's arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Dalvin Cook's been relatively healthy this year, and he had a huge play. He had the play. I mean, you could argue that was the play of the game that
80-yard touchdown
catapulted them back into it. Yeah, he had the 80-yard touchdown in the third quarter. I think
He
they were
also
down
could
by
have
2
ended the game if
touchdowns.
he didn't drop that pass.
True.
Well, and then we haven't even talked about it. They also had T.J. Hawkinson.
Or tie it.
T.J. Hawkinson
the
was a
addition
good
of T.J.
signing.
Hawkinson. Yeah, it was a good trade. You see how much volume he's getting already from the first game.
Mhm.
I think he had like 7 catches.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of targets.
But yeah, especially a lot of the reasons why the people were saying they were a little iffy on the Vikings was the close games. But I think it's the same reason why they are legit is because they are winning close games. I mean, you got to be able to close out. You got to be able to get the tough ones.
Yep.
It's part of making a good team.
Yeah, they got the Cowboys this week, and then New England Jets. Well, they don't have a tough schedule. It's any given Sunday. We've all said this over and over, but Detroit, Indianapolis, tough end of the year though. New York, Green Bay, and Chicago. But if they can string off a few more wins,
So
they could be like a 12, 13, maybe even a 14 win team.
I'd be a little more scared of Green Bay now if Christian Watson finally started to use his hands. He was drafted, why he was drafted so high. But 3 touchdowns in 1 game. The Packers reunite.
I won't make a
See what
comment until
happens
after
tonight.
the game tonight.
True.
Last little bit of talking
Titans.
If
point.
the Green Bay Packers win tonight, I will quit the show.
I'll hold you to it.
Hold to it. You're being held.
Hold
door.
Odell Beckham, he's getting close to being able to return to play. He's still remaining unsigned. Where do we think he's going to go?
What his options are? What Chiefs, the Cowboys? I think the Rams still.
He's ain't going to the Rams now.
Who else was there? There's another.
Yeah,
there's
they're
another
not winning.
I can't remember who it was, but as long as it's not the Cowboys, I won't be that mad about it. Giants are still an option apparently. Reunion up there, it's out there.
So this is what I think. I think depending on the seriousness of the Juju Smith-Schuster concussion, I think he might go to the Chiefs.
I'd rather see him on the Chiefs than the Cowboys. I really would.
Yeah, so I mean, there was that report that he wants to go to a team that can sign him multiple years and somewhere he can live, something like that.
Yeah, and something with a team that's winning.
Yeah, so he pretty much wants the full
He wants
package.
he wants to go to a winning team in a nice area, and he wants a big deal.
It's all about the
How
market
about
for him.
As a football fan, I think it would be kind of cool to see a reunion with the Giants. They're playing well this year. They need a receiver really bad. He has a history with New York. That would be cool. As a Eagles fan, I don't want to see him come to the division, whether it's the Giants or the Cowboys.
Yeah, either one, honestly.
We were kind of unsure about the Chiefs without Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. Not that they would play bad or be bad. We just thought it was going to be a tough division, and Tyreek Hill was that good. And it seems to be that they can plug in whoever they want, and Patrick Mahomes can produce, and Andy Reid can call plays. So that'd be tough if the Chiefs got Odell. That wouldn't be surprising if that's what happens. Was the Vikings were in on him too, right?
I didn't see that,
Let me
but
see if I can find something.
I mean, Adam Thielen's become more of a tough catch type guy. He's not
Check
making
down.
plays
Oh, here we go.
downfield.
So
And Osborne's not the stud that I potentially thought he was going to pop off this year.
So he wants to pick a team by the end of November.
Speedy,
the list that Adam Schefter reported was the Bills, Cowboys, Chiefs, Giants, and the 49ers. Okay. So it's not a real report. It's a Vikings thing saying he should be interested in coming to the Vikings after their win. 49ers wouldn't be a bad sign either.
I would say, especially location-wise, he sure wouldn't mind the Bay Area.
I don't see him going to the Niners. They like to run. They already got Debo and Brandon Ayuk. They got Christian McCaffrey now.
Yeah, that's how I was thinking of the actual, puzzle pieces with the move. I mean, the AFC West is not nearly as good as we thought it was going to be. The Chiefs are at the top, and everybody else is looking kind of weak. Broncos, Raiders, Chargers. If you get at Odell, I mean, you could probably solidify that division, lock it up.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't do anything. He was perfect for the Rams last year. I mean, he had 8 games with them. He only had 27 catches, 300 yards, and 5 touchdowns. But the 5 touchdowns in 8 games is really good, and he continued that trend in the playoffs. I think he had a couple touchdowns.
He had a touchdown in the Super Bowl before he tore his knee up.
He was on his way to being Super Bowl MVP.
Probably.
Could have been.
Either whatever team gets him, I think, is a plus. So
getting away from Cleveland was definitely the best move for him, though. I mean, clearly it just wasn't working with his fit. Because you saw exactly what he did with the Rams. Yeah, seems to be as one of the Browns. Do. See, Sean Watson's practicing this week. Ooh.
He's going to go back to Cleveland to team up with Deshaun. All right, so moving ahead, we're going to look at the upcoming. Excuse me. Yeah. We're going to look at the upcoming Week 11 schedule, and we're going to discuss some of the games that we got going on. So Thursday Night Football, we got that kicking off later tonight, and we have the Tennessee Titans at the Green Bay Packers. Packers, I believe, are 2.5-point favorites. What do we think about that game?
I think the Packers' run defense is very suspect, and I think Derrick Henry's going to feast King style.
I hope so. I saw an interesting stat that the last time the Titans won in Green Bay was 18 years ago. And the last time they won before that was also 18 years ago. So I'm hoping the 18-year pattern keeps up and the Titans get a W.
So weird. I think, RJ said, I think Derrick Henry, any game with the Titans, you can say, what's the key to success? Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has a big game. They're probably going to win. They have solid defense. I just got to update that Jeffrey Simmons is playing. I didn't know he was questionable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been dealing with the ankle.
Yeah, he's, arguably the best interior lineman in the league, defensive lineman. Isn't Aaron Jones out for the Packers?
No, he
had an
ankle injury, right?
But here we go. No, he's not on the injury report, but I heard all week that he had an ankle.
Yeah, and the ankle's
so I mean, even if he's playing, that could affect him, and that was their key to success last week. The Green Bay Packers against the Cowboys, they were able to run the ball, and Aaron Rodgers didn't throw that often, and Watson wasn't getting targeted 10 times a game. Like they weren't treating him like he needed to be a new Devontae Adams. I think he had 4 catches for 3 touchdowns and 100 yards, but they were timely plays, nothing forced, play actions. Just call the right plays when needed. I think if they can do a similar thing this week or tonight against the Titans, it could be a tough game. But overall, I think this is Tannehill's second game back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another week back, settling in. Titans defense is good enough. And I think, like RJ said, Derrick Henry should have a big night.
We shall see. I think it's going to be a close game. Both teams are going to want to run the ball, try and get the passing game going. Titans pass offense is, I don't even know a word in the English dictionary to describe it. It's just bad. But I'm hoping they can pull out the win. The next game up on the schedule, the Chicago Bears are visiting the Atlanta Falcons. This game, I just had a spread in front of me. 2 seconds. The
-3.
Falcons are 3-point favorites.
So we're doing scores?
Yeah, just what you feel for the game. Justin Fields has been on a tear running the ball. He's on a unseen pace. But I mean, you can always just comp him to Lamar Jackson number wise. But I do like the Falcons in this game. I think that the Falcons have been a tough fight all year. They need the win. And I think we might see them focus their entire game on not letting Fields run, and then trust their back end defenders to not get killed by a couple deep balls.
Yeah, the Bears, Justin Fields is playing great, and that might make people forget that they've lost 3 games in a row. I agree with you. I think the Falcons, you said you think the Falcons pull it out, right?
Yeah.
I think the Falcons will probably pull it out. Bears defense is just a little sus at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Fields goes off again, give him another 70-yard rushing touchdown, and go off in fantasy for the 3rd straight week. But they got rid of 2 of their best defensive players already this year at the trade deadline. They're obviously not in a win now mode. Hopefully they can progress Justin Fields while they're losing, which it kind of seems like they are. But Falcons can run the ball a little bit, and Marcus Mariota has been decent this year. So
yeah, give the ball to Cordell Patterson, throw it to Drake in the middle. Got Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I'd like to see Drake have a good game this week because Drake London, because he started off good this year the first 3 weeks, and they just don't throw the ball that much. Him and Pitts.
Get Pitts the dang ball.
He's not getting a lot of looks.
Next game up on our schedule, the Philadelphia Eagles are visiting the Indianapolis Colts. Eagles are a 7-point favorite as of now. This is an interesting game because on paper I go, oh, Eagles easy, but
Jonathan Taylor.
If I'm the Eagles, I'm not afraid of Matt Ryan. I'm gonna follow the Mike Vrabel philosophy. Commit to stopping the run, earn the right to rush the passer, make Matt Ryan beat you, make him miserable, and just know that your offense can put up as many points as you want. Colts defense hasn't been all that great this year.
That is a fantastic philosophy, but Jonathan Gannon's on our team, not Vrabel. Jonathan Gannon likes to give it all you got. We'll give you all you want. I hate it because it's like I think a team will take a bend but don't break defense. But if you have the skill to not have a defense like that, why accept that type of defense? Anyways, I agree, though. Jonathan Taylor, that's the big circle on the Indianapolis roster. Commit to stopping him, and the Colts pass protection is not very good. Matt Ryan, I think, 7th in the league in sacks, somewhere around there, 25, 30 sacks in that range. The Eagles pass rush has been not the best of times, but if they can, just commit to stopping the run and make Matt Ryan throw the ball, they should be able to win.
I think
They should be coming out nasty after losing to the Commanders too, the way they did, because it was an embarrassment.
What's your nickel corner, Maddox?
Yeah, he's out.
Devontae.
I think not having him is not. I'm not saying that like he's just that good that not having him is a big deal. He is good, but I think not having him is affecting Gannon's aggressiveness.
And what CJ's been
He
playing?
wasn't. He hasn't
Johnson.
been that aggressive all year though.
He's been playing safety, right?
Who?
CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, he comes down sometimes still, but him and
He's having a good year though. What, he has 5-6 picks this year.
Six,
6
5
now?
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should win if they lose this game. And I'm not worried. A lot of people were worried about the last loss against Commanders, but it's just one game. They have 8 games of showing that they're one of the best teams of football. One bad game, so just get back to it.
I think from what I've seen, more disappointment from Dolphins fans or more happiness from Dolphins fans. They saw the only undefeated season. I've seen disappointment from Eagles fans. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They're just happy, more happy, more emotional because it's just you got it's the NFL. You got to go to the next one.
Next game on the schedule, the New York Jets are heading to Foxborough. Patriots are 3.5-point favorites. It's in Foxborough. Weather's getting a little bit chillier. I like the Patriots, and I'm not even a big fan of the Patriots season. But if you're going to Foxborough and you're going to try to play tough defense and run the ball, the Patriots, I think, are just going to be better than you at it. If that's the game plan you want to go with.
Yeah,
Run the ball.
Stevenson.
Run the ball.
Beast.
Rely on a second-year quarterback. Play good defense. Have both teams have a stud rookie cornerback.
They're
pretty
similar.
much the same team, but I'll take Bill Belichick.
I would take Bill Belichick and Mac Jones over Salah, whatever the hell his name is.
Salah. I'm actually going to go with the Jets
and
field goal.
Zach Wilson.
Jets go.
If Breece Hall was in still, I would maybe be like, give it to the Jets, but I think you're right. The New England might win this one. Jets are coming off a big win against the Bills, though.
Sauce is going to make Mac Jones, which he really was, just a mac and cheese guy.
With that being said, are they due for a letdown or just a return to norm?
Who?
You just said they were coming off a big win, and I was just saying, are they due for a letdown?
I mean, the week before that, they lost to New England, so revenge.
History repeats itself.
Cold.
Next game up on the 1 o'clock for the 1 o'clock hour, the Washington Commanders are going down to Houston. Commanders are a 3-point favorite. I think that Davis Mills and the Texans are just going to absolutely slaughter Washington. To be honest, I'm just kidding. No, I like Washington. I think they for whatever reason they play better with Heineke at center. They have that swagger.
Heineke plays center?
Under center.
Yeah, sounded like you said.
If only he had Wentz's arm strength, I'd be the happiest man in the world. I swear.
I like his swagger.
This motherfucker.
The defense has been playing pretty good.
Chase Young's coming back.
Is he back this week?
He's back.
Boys are back in town.
I don't think he'll get the normal amount of reps, of course, but I think he will see plenty of time to get him back into the field of things. One of my fellow fans was like, we should even bring him back this week. It's a waste 2 week. I'm like, it's still any given Sunday. The Texans could easily beat us. Shut your whore mouth.
I think this is going to be,
get him back when you get him back. You get him back to work and you get him back into football shape. You make sure he can handle it out there. I think the Texans are a perfect team.
Just for my respect for Ron Rivera, I think this is a straight business game. Play your good defense. Give Brian Robinson 25 carries. Walk out with the win.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do. Nothing fancy.
I love you, RJ. But this is the 1 week where I hope you lose.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't blame
I think you guys are going to win, though. I think Brian Robinson might have a big game this week.
Fingers crossed.
All right. The Rams are visiting the New Orleans Saints. Saints are 3-point favorite at home. Typically means that Vegas thinks that they're evenly matched. The surprising thing is that both of these teams only have 3 wins. Personally, I'll take the Saints at home. I would prefer if Andy Dalton is starting. If Jameis is announced as a starter, I might change my opinion. But the Rams don't have Cooper Kupp. They've looked terrible this year. I think the defense honestly potentially quit on the team. So yeah, I'll take the Saints.
Yeah, I mean Stafford's coming back from a concussion. You mentioned Cooper Kupp's out. They don't have anything inspiring in the run game. Henderson, Akers is back, and the other guy. That's all he is, another guy. Defense is uninspired too. Saints aren't much better. I'll flip a coin on this one. Saints.
Yeah, we'll keep it going. Next game, it's Browns at Bills, but they're apparently moving the game because of bad weather. RJ, I saw you posted that they're saying 6 feet of snow or something.
So 3 to 6 feet was the original post I saw. Yeah,
We'll see about that, but they did say they are going to move the game.
yeah, they moved to the Ford Field already.
Bills are, depending on where you look, they're about.
I'm so mad that they moved. I'm sorry. I'm so mad that they moved the game.
Yeah,
I didn't care if any fan showed up. I just wanted to. I love watching football played in the snow.
Yeah,
and
it
I
did
do
snow
think,
in the other game, the Vikings game, a little bit.
Yeah, but that's like flurries. You can
Yeah.
see it when it's like the side view, but the regular TV view you can't really see it. I want like the Eagles Lions 2013.
And if I were the Bills, I'm sorry, the Bills are about 8-point favorites. If I were the Browns, I would be mad too because put me in a snow game with their O-line and Nick Chubb, and I think it would even the odds a little bit, but they're moving the game. The Browns, I think they are better than what their record says, but they're also playing the Bills coming off of a back-to-back kind of gut-wrenching losses, so I think the Bills are going to slaughter them.
Yeah.
Slaughter them. Yeah, I think you're right about the Bills. I think Brissett's played pretty good, all things
Admirably.
considered. Yeah, all things considered. I think he's a little conservative, maybe. I haven't watched enough games to really say that for sure, but that's just my guess. They've really leaned on Nick Chubb. I don't know if it's going to be a slaughter, but if Josh Allen is healthy and his elbow's not an issue, I think it's a good comeback game for him. They're playing indoors too. The Bills, they can play indoor and outdoors. So we'll see what happens. But Bills probably.
Massacre.
Moving along, the Carolina Panthers are coming up to Baltimore. Me and Sasquatch will actually be at that game. But
this is my blowout of the week.
Yeah,
my lock of the week.
I think this game's over at halftime, to be honest. And I know the Ravens don't really have the air attack to potentially do that, but they do have the running ability of Lamar, Kenyon Drake, Gus Edwards. Their defense has been kind of turning it on, especially with this Roquan Smith trade. I think this game's over at halftime.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks since we've had a monster. Been more than a few weeks since we've had a monster Lamar game since earlier in the season.
I'm predicting Gus Edwards going for 3 TDs.
Okay, I was gonna say Lamar Jackson gets like 3 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown.
No, this is a Gus Edwards game. All right.
Well, you have him in fantasy. Might be a little biased, but yeah, I think it's going to be like in the 35, 38 to like 17 range. Baker Mayfield's playing. He doesn't have any kind of chemistry with DJ Moore, apparently. All right. Dante Foreman's good. He's big bruiser out there. So, I mean, if they can do anything, maybe that's what they can do. They had a decent game against Falcons on Thursday night last week. So,
all right, this is going to be the West Side. Be bold. Boldest prediction of the week. DJ Moore is going for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Upset win.
What? You already said it was a lock.
I know. I'm just kidding. If that happens, though, me and you years ago, we were at the Peyton Hillis game,
Yeah, we were.
and that was one of my
I'm all right with
second
it being a
favorite
good.
games
I'm all right.
ever.
I'm an Eagles fan. You're a Titans fan. I'm all right with the Panthers upsetting the Ravens because it would kind of be cool to see a whole stadium being like shock. But I would also be all right with a good game or a Ravens blowout. Seeing Lamar Jackson go off would be pretty cool.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Next up, the last 1:00 game. The Detroit Lions are going to the Meadowlands to face the New York Giants. Giants are 3-point favorites. Giants are still sporting that 7-2 record. Are the Lions able to knock them off?
There's definitely a chance. But
Lions are, I think they're getting healthy finally.
Yeah, their defense is still giving up the most points in the league, most everything. Points, yards.
Yeah, yes, but the Lions are also capable of scoring, and the Giants. There's a lot of teams this year that just want to play good defense and run the ball, and I love that. That's my kind of football. But if you are able to force them into a shootout, take them out of their comfort zone, I like the Lions in this game.
Yeah, I like the Lions too. It's just the Giants are hot. They're feeling it. It's Quan Barkley, loving it.
You like the Lions in this game, or you like them in general?
Well, I really expected the Lions after the start to be a little better off than they are now at 3-6, but still, what more wins they had last year?
I mean, they're coming off back-to-back wins. Had
close wins.
Yeah, had a boring game against the Packers and won 15-9.
Rodgers decided to throw 3 picks.
Had a high-scoring game against
in the red
Bears,
zone. I think
31-30. I think
I'm definitely rooting for the Lions, but
yeah, I think the Giants will probably pull this one out. I don't think I think Dabble should have the Giants ready after coming off a bye. Wait, no, they played the Texans last week, but I think he'll have a good enough game plan for Danny Jones to put up some rushing yards along with Saquon Barkley.
Did you see what Barkley said that Daniel Jones' new nickname is?
No.
Vanilla Vic.
Oh, jeez.
Just stick with Danny Dimes.
I changed my
so
pick.
much respect for Barkley. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised they lose the rest of the league.
The
rest of the games.
All right.
Oh, God.
Moving on to the four.
Giants going to crumble eventually. I really do.
Moving on to the 4 o'clock games, we got the Las Vegas Raiders going to the Denver Broncos. Broncos are 3-point favorites. This might be the two most disappointing teams in the league,
along with the Chargers. The whole other half of
no. The Chargers are cursed. There's a difference.
True.
Respect the curse.
I
don't know what it is, but it's
Josh
some
McDaniels
sort of
fired
curse.
Yet?
He should. I
read an article. I read an article that said everyone but him is safe because Davis is so cheap that he won't pay him out.
Really? Wait, yeah. Everyone's safe.
No, nobody's safe. McDaniels is the only one who is safe because his money is fully guaranteed, and Davis won't pay him out that money.
Hey, maybe we'll shake him down and get that money back. Better start getting some wins, boy. Him and Josh McDaniels and Russell Wilson are like top 5 and enemy of the state to the NFL right this year. Because Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson's garbage this year. I was wrong. I thought he was gonna have a big year. I didn't know all this stuff about him before the season. He just his character's off.
I didn't know that Russell Wilson. I didn't know that he was
Antonio Brown scenario.
I didn't know that Russell Wilson was the cringiest person in sports right now.
I thought he had I thought he had like a dopiness to him naturally that was like kind of charming, and he was really good at football. And he like married. Who's he married to? Sierra, which is like out of his league. It seemed like because he was kind of dopey. And
once he started rocking that perm haircut, It was over.
I don't know. Just
I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse or funnier. The Russell Wilson "Let's Ride" memes or the LeBron James cap memes that have been going around.
That's the old one though. That cap.
I don't think so.
LeBron James with the cap.
No, like the cap, like LeBron. It'll be like LeBron James, and he'll be like because there's that video where he was like, I was watching.
Migos.
I was getting ready to watch
2011.
Kobe play, and I just told my buddies, I don't know why, I was just like, he's gonna go for 80 this game.
Oh yeah, where he's about his lying.
Yeah, and so everyone makes those memes where like LeBron James just loves lying for no reason. They'll be like they were like, I don't know why, but I was watching the Saints game and on Christmas, and I was just like, Kamara's gonna score 5 touchdowns today.
Yeah, misinterpreted your the meme you were talking about. I haven't seen those.
I'll have to send you some. They're hilarious. Now I lost my whole train of thought. Oh yeah, Broncos. I'm gonna go with the Broncos because the Vegas, they're just chokers of the year.
At least
the Broncos just haven't been good. Vegas just keeps choking.
Well, the Broncos defense is still really good. And Surtain's been one of the best.
Pat Surtain?
Yeah, Pat Surtain's been one of the best corners in the league. Even though they've traded Chubb. Is that who they traded?
Yeah, Bradley Chubb.
I couldn't remember his name for some reason. It's just Russell Wilson garbage, and they had the unfortunate injury to Javonte Williams. But yeah, I think the Broncos are going to win.
And then Melvin Gordon keeps fumbling.
He
got lucky. He got lucky that if the Titans challenged it, it was going to be a fumble, but they let it go.
I said that earlier this season. You're like, well, I can't stop fumbling.
All right, next game, the Dallas Cowboys are going up to Minnesota to try and knock off the 8-1 Vikings. Yes, exactly.
I do think this is going to be a tough game for the Cowboys. I think even though the Cowboys are coming off of a low, losing to the Packers, and the Vikings are coming off a high, pulling off a miracle against the Bills.
Both overtime games.
Just the way they turned out, where the Vikings probably shouldn't have won that game, and the Cowboys probably shouldn't have lost that game. I just feel like it's going to be the opposite. I think it's going to propel the Vikings to play good this week, and I think the Cowboys might come out a little flat.
I think the game's gonna. I think the game's gonna come down to Justin Jefferson versus CeeDee Lamb, who can make the handful. Because I mean, if you're being honest, these are both run teams that have solid defenses. The Dallas defense isn't looking quite as elite as it was to start the year. And if you are being honest with yourself, Dak Prescott, he is overrated. It is what it is. Like, I'm not saying he's insanely overrated, but it's probably typical Cowboys hype. But if you polled America, I think Dak Prescott is overrated. So I think it comes down to which team's star receiver is going to make the plays, and I think I put my money on Justin Jefferson.
Me too. Take all my money.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about. I don't know if Dak Prescott's overrated. He is overpaid. So does that go hand in hand? Maybe.
I think everybody's overpaid now.
That's true, 100%.
Well, if everybody's overpaid, are they overpaid, or is that just the going rate?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The market's fluctuated all the way to a stupid rate.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm an Eagles fan, so obviously I hope the Cowboys lose. If they do what they did last week, and Micah Parsons is like, that's got to be like one of the first games where he's just non-existent. If that happens again, it's night forever for the Cowboys. Zeke's coming back this week. There's a lot of juice.
That might not be for the best.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Pollard. Again, we're not a Cowboys show. Sorry.
It's just not. It's not
the Cincinnati Bengals. They are going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bengals are 4-point favorites. Last time we saw the Bengals, they were just
Joe Mixon
curb stomping the Carolina Panthers. Okay, you know what? There's a great equalizer that's coming back for this game, and his name's TJ Watt. If it wasn't for him, I
Yeah, he's
would
been
say,
for the last 2 weeks, right?
yeah. But it's just the Bengals, and they have that. I feel like, regardless of if they have good games or not, they're just like
Yeah, you guys
Burrow
will see him on
still.
TV. We'll be in the end zone ish.
Burrow's still not. He's still not protected enough. I'm gonna go with the Bengals, but I think it's gonna be a close game.
I'm going to go with the Bengals too. They lost week 1 to the Steelers. That was TJ Watt when he got injured, and he also had an amazing game. It's his first game back from injury. I don't think he's going to be full force.
No, he's been back. He
Huh?
came back. TJ Watt's been back.
Oh, yes?
Been like a week or two at least.
Yeah, I think he came back last week, or it might have been the week before, but I know he was playing last week.
Oh, well, yeah. So
they won
Steelers are so
last week.
bad, I didn't even realize that. So Bengals by 15.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with the Steelers because I'll be there, and I do not want to deal with those Pennsylvania Yins coming at me.
All right,
I'm wearing
Sunday night.
to keep safe.
Sunday night football. Chiefs at Chargers. Chiefs are 5-point favorites. Chargers first matchup of these two teams. The Chargers had the game, and
They
then
played the Chiefs really well.
Just vanished. They had it, and then just let it slip
Pick
through their
six.
fingers.
Is Keenan Allen
Pick six, and the game fell apart. Is Keenan Allen going to be back? Is Mike Williams going to be back?
So if they're both out, then it's not looking good for the Chargers.
Keenan Allen's questionable. Mike Williams is questionable still.
So
I'm going with.
Been great as of recent. Over like 600 yards in 5 games with like 5
wasn't good last week. Tell you that.
Before then,
no, he leads the league in receiving yards and touchdowns for running backs, I believe.
He always does. I feel like.
I want to say I'm hoping this is a good game. It's Sunday Night Football. I got a bad feeling because it was a close game the first week. Chargers, I just don't like their coach. Can't remember his name now.
Staley.
I don't like him. Their defense is suspect still.
JC Jackson's out for the year, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They lost last week to the 49ers. Justin Herbert, I still love him as a quarterback. I think he's a stud. He seems a little unsure at times. They've had all the injuries, obviously, with the weapons. So Mike Williams and Keenan Allen coming back would be a huge boost. But as of now, we're going Chiefs.
Yeah,
we already said it. Chargers are cursed. I am probably the biggest non-Charger fan, Charger supporter, if that makes sense. How I just worded it.
Yes,
but they're just cursed.
I think we're all a fan of the Chargers here. I feel like we've all been fans of the Chargers. I love Justin Herbert
because they're the village idiot of the NFL.
Staley?
No, it's just the Chargers.
They're the village idiot.
It all goes back to Philip Rivers for him.
Staley's like the crap version of. Can't think of anything. Just a crap version on defense.
Just a crap version. Whatever it is.
I had a comparison in my head. I was like, that's not a good comparison. But I'm not a big fan of his. They need to get an offensive coach in there that will take Justin Herbert to the where he belongs. He should be in that conversation with Mahomes and Josh Allen already.
Should have played in the playoffs by now.
Yes.
Monday Night Football. The 49ers are going to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. 49ers are 8-point favorites. I don't know if Murray's going to play or not. This is the game. I'll watch it because it's Monday Night Football, but I could care less. I'm just over the Cardinals. I think they need a clean house. I think they're already regretting the Kyler Murray extension, but I guess they are stuck with him. And Kingsbury, I think he's done. He's out the door.
Yeah. I'm going Niners all day. Zach Ertz just tore his knee up.
He's out for the year.
Colt McCoy got hurt, so they're on their third string quarterback if Cotter doesn't play. I believe it's just not looking good for Arizona. Pretty dry, pretty dry.
So, not that history always matters, but in the last, since 2015, the home team of Cardinals 49ers games has only won 3 times. So a nice
About
little,
to be 4.
nice little ticket there for you to take to look at and read. I do think the 49ers are going to win. Cardinals, dysfunctional. Kyler Murray seems to get into an argument with somebody every week. I think last week DeAndre Hopkins called him out. Like, what are you looking at? You guys see that video?
Well, the new Call of Duty came out, so he doesn't care.
True. And the 49ers seem to be hitting a little bit of a stride. They got a win against the LA Rams and Chargers. Christian McCaffrey addition, great move. Defense is solid.
Exactly.
Garoppolo's playing pretty well. He's doing what he needs to do.
Just with the same thing with Garoppolo, just don't lose the game. We don't need you to win the game. We don't even need you to manage the game. Just don't lose the game.
Don't sell.
Yeah. Ayuk. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
I always say it wrong. He's been playing well this year.
He had a slow start and he really turned it up.
Yeah, and Garoppolo seems like, did drop a touchdown last week, but I'll forgive him.
Debo needs to get the ball more.
Debo, I think he's working his way back into the offense. I think he was injured when they traded for Christian McCaffrey, so it's been a few weeks.
In the bye week, too.
I think the craziest part, not to stick on the 49ers, is they can 100% win by playing their stellar defense, running the ball with Eli Mitchell, and having Garoppolo just hit Ayuk and George Kittle when they need to move the chains. Yeah. But then you throw in the 2 biggest X factors in the league in McCaffrey and Debo, and it's like, oh yeah, we can do whatever we want with these 2 players. So
they're using Mitchell too, which is nice. I'm gonna have to start playing him and McCaffrey. I got them both of them. Jesus. Isn't today trade deadline? Oh god, I'm screwed.
But yeah, that's it for week 11. We're in the heat of the season, but not too much crazy going on in the league. You guys have anything else you wanted to bring up?
Just one more time. Skull.
Yes, I think that this is going to be the week where I can't think of anything good.
Skull.
I thought I had a good little thing to send you off for this week, like I usually do, but not this time.
Ain't no worries. That does it for the show. Week 3 is about to start in a matter of minutes. I got some wings waiting for me to watch this Titans game.
Lido wings, aren't they?
Tighten up.
Lido jumbo wings. Tighten up. This is No Interference. We're your hosts, Westside, Big Sass, and the Bull. Thank you to all of our listeners as usual. We appreciate anyone who takes the time to watch our YouTube channel or follow us on social media at The NI Show on Twitter and Instagram. If you like the show, drop a comment, like, subscribe, share the video. Again, we appreciate all the support, but that does it. So adios.
See you later.
Peace.